Hey everyone, I just want to do a quick little voiceover at the start before we get into my top 10 favorite Pokemon games. So I recorded this video and did the bulk of the editing before Legends ZA came out, so you hear my little comment about Legends ZA. Well, I just haven't had a chance to upload lately. I've just been extremely busy, so I plan on getting back to regular uploads. I got lots of videos coming out here that I want to get edited up here today for the next coming weeks, so you guys will have that to look forward to. But without further ado, I just wanted to do a little voiceover before we get into my top 10 favorite Pokemon games. With Pokemon Legends ZA right around the corner, coming out in 3 days at the time of recording this video, I thought I'd make my top 10 favorite Pokemon games of all time and release a list right before it comes out, because I'm extremely excited for Legends ZA and I can't wait to hop into another Pokemon Legends game. Now, of course, as this is just my list, and you guys will have to let me know what your favorite Pokemon games in the entire series are down in the comments section below. I feel like Pokemon has a lot of nostalgia for a lot of people. I think a lot of people's favorite Pokemon games come down to what their fondest childhood memories are. So that's definitely what my list is for sure. You guys will definitely have to let me know what your favorite Pokemon games are down in the comments section below. But without further ado, I thought it was suiting to have Pokemon Legends Arceus be in the background for the honorable mentions. So let's hop into my 5 honorable mentions. Now, I had to include a Gen 1 game, so my first honorable mention is Pokemon Yellow. I absolutely love this game. It is a phenomenal game, but when it comes to my favorite games, it just wasn't cracking the top 10 for myself. I love this game, and it was really, really cool. It definitely had some tie-ins to the anime back then, and it was really cool that your starter was Pikachu, and then you could get all 3 starters in Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur, and you could use them throughout your playthrough, but it just... it's a great game, but it's definitely not in my top 10. And then next is Pokemon Crystal. Now, Pokemon Crystal, I absolutely love. I love the Gen 2 Pokemon games. But again, there's actually, I'm just going to foreshadow, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the remakes, I prefer over the Pokemon Silver, Gold, and Crystal. So that's the reason why I decided to throw in Pokemon Crystal as a honorable mention. Next to my honorable mentions is a weird one, but Pokemon Snap. Pokemon Snap is a really, really great game, and it came out for the N64, and I played it on the Wii Virtual Console way back in the day, and I absolutely love this game. I find it's got a good amount of replayability. I played it again just a few years ago, and it still holds up as one of my favorite games of all time. But, again, not cracking the top 10. And then I'm going to go with Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon for another honorable mention, because this game is phenomenal. 3DS Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game, but just doesn't make it into the top 10. Great story, really, really good graphics being on the 3DS for the time anyways. It seems like the 3DS has aged a little bit now when you go back and play some of the 3DS games, but still really holds up. Great story and very, very good Mystery Dungeon entry. And now my last honorable mention before we get into the actual top 10 is the game you're seeing in the background, Pokemon Legends Arceus. I thought this game was really, really fun. I liked the mix of open world mechanics with an actual central HUD. I thought it was really, really cool, and it led into the fully open world Pokemon Scarlet and Violet that we have with the most recent game. But I think that Legends Arceus did a better job than Scarlet and Violet, and it felt less buggy, felt like there was less bugs and glitches, and it was just a really, really enjoyable and different Pokemon game, which has me really excited for Legends ZA, because I have a feeling it'll be somewhat similar, but they are bringing back Mega Evolutions, which will be awesome, because I thought Mega Evolutions were really, really cool in the 3DS Pokemon games. Now, with the honorable mentions out of the way, let's get into number 10. Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. They are number 10 on my list for me because I absolutely love these games. They were phenomenal 3DS entries, and it was not only the 3DS Pokemon games were just awesome in general, like Alpha Sapphire, Omega Ruby, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and X and Y were all very, very good. Now, Sun and Moon were kind of obsolete. Definitely Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon really added some extra difficulty, and of course were enhancement versions of Sun and Moon, so they really made Sun and Moon feel obsolete in the end. But that being said, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, I just loved that they were different from the other Pokemon games. You had a kind of Hawaii-style, Hawaii-themed Pokemon region in Alola, and you had, instead of gym leaders, you had 4 island leaders, which were called the Island Kahunas. So it was kind of different, and it was also just really, really enjoyable. I really liked shiny hunting in these games, and that was kind of really, really enjoyable for myself. And I liked the difficulty of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. I found the difficulty of them felt really good. It was had a little bit of challenge to them. They didn't feel too easy, but they also didn't feel too hard. And I just found these games to be very, very enjoyable and different from the other Pokemon games. Now, number 9, I'm going to go with Pokemon X and Y. So, Pokemon X and Y, phenomenal games. First Pokemon games on the Nintendo 3DS, and they just included so much. I mean, they were the first to go 3D on the handheld, and they were also included Mega Evolutions, and I just like a lot of the Pokemon in this region as well. The Mega Evolutions really being the big thing that was a cool addition, and I'm very happy that bringing back Mega Evolutions for Pokemon Legends ZA. So that's why I have X and Y at number 9. I really enjoyed these games. The region itself, the Kalos region, was just phenomenal, and I just really enjoyed the Mega Evolutions. I thought it was such a cool innovation back when these games came out. Now, if there's one thing I can knock X and Y for is the difficulty. I found these games extremely easy, and it was not due to the EXP share. I mean, that made it easy, but you could turn that off and add some difficulty. But I just found these games not overly difficult, but they're still a solid number 9 spot on my list. Oh boy, now in number 8, we're getting to Pokemon Black and White 2. Black and White 2 were phenomenal sequels to Black and White, and the story in the Black and White games was some of the best in the entire series. And I absolutely love Pokemon Black and White 2. They were phenomenal games. They were very, very fast. The whole Unova region, just everything about it was fast. The bicycle speed was extremely fast. The Pokemon battles were extremely fast. And I actually really liked that because after Gen 4 being like a snail's pace for speed, it was kind of nice to have Pokemon games that were actually pretty quick, and the battles felt like they were fast, and it didn't feel like your animations in battle were taking forever, or your running speed or bicycling speed was at a snail's pace. And I absolutely loved a lot of Pokemon in this region. I felt like the starters were some of the weaker starters in the whole series for design-wise and likability. I don't really care for either 3 of the starters, but I did really, really like Gigalith, Conkeldurr, Zoroark was really cool, and also the legendaries, Reshiram being one of my favorite legendaries of all time. And of course, Victini was a cool event back in the day on Black and White, going to Liberty Island, I believe it was called. So really, really cool. This game had some of the coolest Wi-Fi events for the time, like just phenomenal in-game Pokemon events that were super cool, and I wish they would do more like it in recent entries, but still phenomenal games. Absolutely love Black and White and Black and White 2. So solid number 8 on my list. Now, coming in at number 7 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Blue Rescue Team, Red Rescue Team, and Rescue Team DX, the remake on the Nintendo Switch. So, of the gameplay in the background is from Rescue Team DX on the Switch, but I absolutely love Pokemon Blue, Red, and Red Rescue Team. Red Rescue Team being on the Gameboy Advance, and Blue Rescue Team being on the DS. These games were phenomenal and are my favorite Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games in the entire series. So many phenomenal memories with these games. They were just incredible back in the day, and I just love the Mystery Dungeon series. It's a bit of a niche series. I feel like you either really love it or you hate it. But the Mystery Dungeon games, I always have really, really enjoyed. They're definitely a bit weird on the story front. You are a human that turned Pokemon, and yeah, it's a little bit of a weird story for sure, but still, these games are absolutely phenomenal and definitely my favorite Mystery Dungeon games in the entire series. Now, coming in at number 6, I told you Heart Gold and Soul Silver would make a return, so that's why I couldn't place Crystal on my list, but I love the Gen 2 games and the Gen 2 remakes. Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal, phenomenal games, but I just feel like Heart Gold and Soul Silver just added so much more, and they were such phenomenal remakes. You had your Pokemon that were following you around in-game. You had the physical special split of Gen 4, the Gen 4 graphics, the colors. Everything was just absolutely phenomenal with these games. And it was also easier to do trading, of course, with the global trading system, which I have very, very fond memories of trying to trade Pokemon on the Gen 4 games, Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, always on the global trading system, trying to see what cool Pokemon you could find on there that people are trying to get traded. And I just love these games. I mean, Kanto region, one of my favorite regions in the whole series, and then the Johto region, absolutely phenomenal as well. And the music is incredible in these games. Some of the best in the whole series, like the Lance Elite Four Champion theme is absolutely phenomenal. It's also the same theme for the battle against Pokemon Trainer Red. But then also, I just love the Kanto Gym Leader's theme. I think the Kanto Gym Leader theme is incredible as well. And these games, definitely a solid number 6 spot on my list. Coming in at number 5, I decided to combine Pokemon Colosseum and XD Gale of Darkness. Both these games, two of the most difficult games, if not the most difficult Pokemon games in the entire series, but they're so fantastic. If you guys have never played these games, you definitely got to pick them up and try them, because these are some of my favorites, of course, coming in at the number 5 spot. So Pokemon Colosseum, absolutely phenomenal game, all double battles. I had to combine them together because they're very, very similar. I mean, they take place in the same region, Pokemon XD being the sequel to Colosseum. But I just found when I was replaying them both recently that there is a lot of similarities, just not between just the region, but also a lot of the towns and everything. So I just decided to combine these two on the number 5 spot. But phenomenal games. Every single battle you end up running into, they're all double battles, which is different, and the difficulty is awesome. These games were kind of the first games to try something really different and new in the Pokemon series, having a main story and everything, and a full playthrough Pokemon game, unlike Pokemon Stadium and Stadium 2, where they were just kind of battle simulation style games like Battle Revolution, kind of that style. But these games had a full playable story, all double battles, and you had to snag shadow Pokemon. So that was a cool objective. You were trying to purify shadow Pokemon. So these games, incredible Pokemon games, two of my favorites in the entire series. And I highly recommend you guys check it out if you've never played these games, or if you haven't played them in a long time, try replaying them. These are some of my favorites in the whole series. Good difficulty level too, so they're an absolute blast to play through and they feel very rewarding to play through and beat because they are quite difficult. But anyways, Pokemon Colosseum and Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness taking the number 5 spot on my list. Now, number 4 is a Gen 4 game again in Pokemon Platinum. Now, Pokemon Platinum is definitely the definitive game to play for the Sinnoh region. It is the best by far. It definitely improved on a lot of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl's flaws, and it's also a million times better than Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, because those games I did not really enjoy at all. So I thought they were pretty poor remakes. And just Platinum just did a lot right. It's still got that Gen 4, very, very snail-paced, slow battles, slow running speed, slow bicycling speed, slow tech speed. Everything about it is slow. But the music was fantastic. Some of the Pokemon introduced into this generation, Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina, some of my favorite legendaries in the whole series. I also love all 3 starters in Torterra, Empoleon, and Infernape. Phenomenal starters. And just some really cool extra evolutions that they added to past generation Pokemon. Like you got Electivire, Magmortar, some of the coolest Pokemon out there. Gliscor I really, really like as well. Like they just did so much right with this game, and it just improved on a lot of the flaws of Diamond and Pearl. And definitely the best Sinnoh region Pokemon game to play by far. So that is Pokemon Platinum taking the number 4 spot on my list. Now, coming in at number 3, Pokemon Black and White. The best story in the entire series. I can't think of any Pokemon games out there that top Pokemon Black and White's story. I just love the characters. You actually felt a connection to some of the characters in this game. And it was really, really cool to have more than one rival as well. So that was a cool addition. And then the constant animations of the Pokemon, a really, really cool upgrade as well. And the whole Unova region, they had some really cool Pokemon in this region. But they did so much right with Black and White, from the story to the speed being increased because from the snail's pace of Gen 4, and just having some really cool and memorable characters. And it was just a very, very well done game. And it was also different to actually not end up taking down an Elite Four champion your first run through. You ended up taking down, of course, Anon Getsus, and then your second run through of taking on the Elite Four in the after game. Then you're able to take on the real champion, which was just a really, really cool way to do a Pokemon game's main story. And so many of the Pokemon are so memorable and so cool. The designs were a little bit wonky for sure. I think some of the developers behind some of the Pokemon, they must have been either on drugs or a little loopy at work when they're creating ice cream Pokemon and like a gear Pokemon and the whole Clink line. Like just some of the most weirdest designs out there. But for whatever reason, they actually worked. Like the embryo Pokemon in Reuniclus, one of my favorite Pokemon in the entire series, and yet it's an embryo, like really, really strange, but I don't know what it was. Like I said, the devs must have been a little loopy at work on drugs or something, but for whatever reason, the weird designs just worked in this game, and I absolutely love a lot of the Pokemon from Crocodile, Conkeldurr, Gigalith, Zoroark, some of my favorites, and I just love these games. So that's why Black and White are coming in at number 3. Down to the final 2. If you guys have been around the channel for a while, this is no surprise. Number 2, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green. I love these games. They are my favorite way to play through the Kanto region. The GBA games, from the sprites and just the nostalgia for me, because these were the first Pokemon games I ever played in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Red, and Leaf Green. They just hold so much nostalgia for me, and the sprites, the Pokemon sprites in the Game Boy Advance games are just unmatched. I love the sprite work. They just look fantastic. This was some of the best sprite work in the whole series, and these games are just fantastic. Like the Kanto region this is the best way to play through the Kanto region, I think, personally, is through Fire Red and Leaf Green. And they added in the Sevi Islands, which I really, really enjoyed. They were such a cool addition from Red and Blue and Yellow. So I just absolutely love Fire Red and Leaf Green. The music is incredible as well. Your regular trainer battle music is phenomenal, and then your champion battle music is phenomenal, and all the music on the Sevi Islands is incredible, and I just love the aftergame. My favorite aftergame out of any Pokemon game is the Sevi Islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and these just are such classics. They're old games now. I mean, they're 21 years old because they came out in 2004, but they still hold up. The GBA Pokemon games are just timeless masterpieces, and they're my favorite in the whole series. So coming in at number 2 is Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, my number 1 favorite Pokemon games in the entire series, another GBA classic. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are my favorite Pokemon games in the entire series. These were some of my first Pokemon games, like I said. I believe Fire Red was my very first Pokemon game, hence why my Fire Red cartridge looks a little bit, the label's kind of peeling off. It is old. I've had it for a very, very long time. And then I ended up getting Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald following that. But Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, the Hoenn region, my favorite region in the entire series. I love the Hoenn region. Everything from the Pokemon to the trainer battles, the Elite Four champion, and Steven. I did not like Wallace in Emerald, but Steven, a phenomenal Elite Four champion, and the music is fantastic in these games as well. The legendary theme for Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza, one of the best legendary themes ever, and the music for the champion battle against Steven or Wallace, some of the best champion music in any Pokemon game. And then, of course, the Gen 3 Hoenn Pokemon, definitely some of my favorites in the whole series. I absolutely love Ludicolo. I love Gardevoir. Salamence is so cool. Metagross, Rayquaza, Kyogre, and Groudon. I love all 3 of those legendaries. Latios and Latios, also some of my favorite legendaries as well. Like, they just did so much right with these games, and the Hoenn region is just a fantastic region to play through. It's just from the very start to finish, my favorite Pokemon games in the entire series. And again, the sprite work is fantastic. The Gen 3 sprite work on all the GBA games is just the best in the entire series. I absolutely love the Gen 3 sprites, and all these games, super nostalgic for me, and the difficulty level on all the GBA games, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, is all decent. It's not no Colosseum or XD, but I mean, compared to a lot of the newer Pokemon games, these actually had some difficulty to them. So definitely number 1 on my list. My favorite Pokemon games of all time is Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. So that is why they are rounding out number 1 on my list. These are probably the games I've played the most out of any Pokemon games in the entire series. But anyways, that's all for me for this video. That's my top 10 favorite Pokemon games of all time. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Let me know your favorite Pokemon games down in the comments below. I'd love to read what some of your favorites are. And I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in the next one.